How's it going, peeps? Welcome back to Viva La Coin. I am Joe. I will be your host for today's episode. And on today's episode, we will be covering one of the most explosive altcoins of not only this bull run, but one that actually impressed people with its price action back in 2017, even though they didn't really have much utility to show for it at the time. And that is the Cardano blockchain. And what we're going to cover is just how it stacks up against the other competitors such as Ethereum, such as Polkadot. What makes it different? What validates its $39 billion market cap? Is it going to make a run for taking the top network spot away from Ethereum? And what the rest of this year and the years to come have in store? If you have any questions by the time you finish this video, drop a comment. I'm happy to respond and answer to any of them. And as always, if you can share this video to anyone that needs to know this information, I would be greatly appreciative. So let's go ahead and jump into the video here. And luckily, someone showed me how to avoid showing you this screen moving forward, so hopefully you won't have to stare at that for too much longer. But one thing I always just want to touch on for you guys, look at that. Bitcoin back up at almost $51,000, hit 51K a little bit earlier today. So I guess we can all put down our shovels and stop digging the last couple feet of Bitcoin's grave. We still got a lot of gas left in the tank. So definitely exciting news for crypto all around. We're back over the $1.5 trillion crypto market cap. But the story of today is not about Bitcoin. It is about Cardano. What is Cardano? Where is the total market cap? So Cardano in and of itself is much like Ethereum in nature and what it intends to do. So it is a network where people will be able to go in and scale out their different solutions, whether that be financial, whether that be access to secure, uncensored internet, and so on. But there are a couple key differences between Cardano and Ethereum. And the reason why those differences exist is the person that created Cardano originally was one of the founding members on the team with Vitalik Buterin, who, if you watched our video on Ethereum, is the main person that wrote the Ethereum white paper and founded the Ethereum network. So a couple years prior to Cardano's inception, Ethereum had an issue where early on, before the network was larger, before it was secure enough, there was a hack on the original Ethereum network, and a couple $1 million were stolen, a significant amount of money. And all of the miners that were working on that Ethereum blockchain wanted to turn back the clocks, right? They still had the power. They had the majority of that network. They could go back and change the blockchain so that the hackers wouldn't win, essentially, and they could go back and erase that money being stolen. Charles Hoskinson, who is the founder of Cardano, is more of a code is law, science above all else type of person, and he didn't want to do that. Unfortunately, the miners disagreed, and they went back and decided, well, we're going to change it anyway. And that's why if you use Coinbase in the US or internationally, and certain other exchanges as well, you'll actually see two different versions of Ethereum listed. So Ethereum Classic is the original blockchain that the miners rolled back to try and fix the hack that occurred. And the Ethereum we all know and purchase today is the updated version that they are all working on still to this day on Vitalik's team. So if you see a second Ethereum, one, in my non-financial advisor opinion, don't buy it. It's not really going to go anywhere. It still exists just for those miners or those people that still believe in it. But to be honest, we've moved well beyond that. But when Charles Hoskinson left that project, he went on to found Cardano. And for Cardano, he wanted to front run a lot of the issues that Ethereum is currently having. So if you remember, we talked about the exorbitant fees, the congestion on the network, some of the scaling issues, those were all problems that he wanted to get ahead of. So back in 2017 and 2018, Cardano made its appearance on the exchanges. And the network wasn't live. And in fact, the network did not go live until 2 days ago, March 1st, 2021. And there were several reasons for that. And I'm going to go into what their roadmap looks like and why they made those decisions. But ultimately, he wanted a fully functional, scientifically backed and reviewed blockchain that could do everything Ethereum wanted to do, but already have the proof in the pudding. Ethereum tended to, yes, they were first to market, but solve problems as we go. Oh, there's congestion issues. Oh, layer 2 solutions. We can't fuck that up. Or, oh, the fees are super high. Oh, we got to find another way to bring those down. It's causing a little bit of issues for them now, as opposed to if they had already scaled and built everything out. So it's a trade-off for being first to market and fully integrated. So we'll see how that pans out for them. But for Cardano, the number one thing was to hit the exchanges and first start selling the Cardano cryptocurrency based on that roadmap, which we'll cover in a bit. But let's talk about what Cardano's mission is, what the purpose of this blockchain is. So Cardano is the nexus of 5 principles: people, purpose, technology, research, and opportunity. So as we go through this website, just like the Ethereum one, I will link this below in the description. I would advise you, especially if you plan on investing in Cardano, to go and play around on the website. There's a ton of information that I'm not going to have time to go through that I think you'll find useful. So for these pillars, so the people, working together, we achieve more for many. Cardano is built by a decentralized community of scientists, engineers, and thought leaders united in one common purpose: to create a technology platform that will ignite the positive change the world needs. We believe the future should not be defined by the past, and that more is possible, and through technology can be made possible for all. We measure the worth of a task not by its challenge, but by its results. So the number one thing that Cardano is focused on are the people in our current system that are completely fucked out of participating within that network. And I'm going to show you a couple big news items as to who they're going to be partnering with, but it is people-centric. And I believe personally that is the true nature of what blockchain and decentralization should be, is not only accessible to everyone and permissionless, but you have to proactively go out and make sure to put this in the hands of the people that need it. Not just, oh, I hope that people just can download Coinbase and clear all the fucking payment verification. It's going to be much more difficult for them to do. So there are 3 key pillars in the foundation of Cardano. One is the Cardano Foundation, and they're an independent standards body based in Switzerland with core responsibilities to oversee and supervise the development of the Cardano ecosystem. So they work to drive adoption, shape blockchain governance, set commercial standards, and support the community of Cardano users. The second, Input Output Hong Kong, or IOHK. This is a technology and engineering company contracted to design, build, and maintain the Cardano platform. Charles Hoskinson actually founded this company along with Jeremy Wood, and IOHK is committed to innovation through rigorous peer-to-peer scientific review and the highest standards of assurance in software development. Now, if you've been sitting there like in a desert, you see an oasis over the horizon in 2021, oh my God, something that is so science-centric and not just fucking FOMO or just, oh, we're going to the moon with no backing. Cardano is the blockchain for you because their main focus is make sure it works and make sure it's scientifically proven. And then the final one is Emergo. And they are the enterprise arm of Cardano, operating to boost the platform through commercial ventures. And they actually are working with Cardano on some of the news that I'm going to cover in a bit. But the ultimate purpose behind it is it's a platform built for a sustainable future, to help people work better together, trust one another, and build global solutions to global problems. Cardano is a fork in the road. It takes us from where we've been to where we're destined to go. A global society that is secure, transparent, and fair, and which serves the many as well as the few. And a little Easter egg there for you. So that first line, Cardano is a fork in the road. Maybe this is my tinfoil hat moment, but Elon Musk, for about a week, his profile picture on Twitter right after he was tweeting about Bitcoin and Ethereum and Dogecoin was actually a fork stuck in the middle of the road. Now, he's smart enough to understand probably Ethereum's scaling problems. And do I believe that he was alluding to Cardano? Absolutely. But has he come out and purchased any? Not yet. But we'll see. But that was a little fun fact I wanted to throw out there as well. From a technology side, it brings a new standard of technology, open and inclusive, to challenge the old and activate the new age of sustainable, globally distributed innovation. And they're really big on trying to get everyone to interact, transact, and create on this network. And it's really going to come to light when we talk about the roadmap, but one of their main focuses is on research. So when they talk about scientific peer-to-peer review, usually on Ethereum or sometimes even on Polkadot, you'll have these different blockchains that will come up, or as I showed you before on some of these charts, there's 8,677 different cryptocurrencies, and most of them are absolute dog shit. So they want to make sure that whoever integrates in, whoever their initial coin or token offerings are, whoever is their second and third layer solutions, that everything operates correctly from Cardano down. So they're really big into research, and I will back anyone that leans the scientific route. Opportunities, another pillar. So staging point for every new opportunity. Empower your business through Cardano and discover the future of technology. So they actually have a template and tool set that they will provide to people that want to go in and build their own blockchains and build their own smart contracts. Now, it isn't available on their site, or at least that I could show you here, but I watched a couple people break down using the sort of, I want to call it a remedial tool, but it is something that makes it so that even people that aren't blockchain experts, they can piece it together almost like a puzzle and type in what specific contract executions that they want to have come out of the blockchain that they create or the smart contract that they create. And I think it's going to make it more accessible as more people want to build on this or partake in this network. It's going to help people that aren't hardcore engineers be a part of this. Now, one major thing that makes Cardano different is when it comes to proof of stake. I'm going to explain what staking is now, and you probably heard me mention it a couple times before. A lot of people view it as just a way to make additional return on investment or APY on your cryptos by just, let's go ahead and stake them. Or if you're on Coinbase, you'll see different cryptocurrencies like Cosmos. You can stake them and receive like 5% APY. But there's actually a purpose behind it. And the proof of stake is one of the big focuses for them because that's what Ethereum is struggling with. So their proof of stake is Ouroboros, which is the first peer-reviewed, verifiably secure blockchain protocol, and Cardano is the first blockchain to implement it. Ouroboros enables Cardano's network to be decentralized, and it allows sustainable scale to global requirements without, crucially, compromising security. So when you go in and stake a cryptocurrency, what you're doing is you are securing the network. And I'm going to give you a couple visuals of what this looks like. But what is staking? So that means if you have crypto assets that you purchase, let's say I purchase a bunch of Cardano, I can go to various wallets or to various exchanges or different sites, and I can stake that, which means I take my crypto out of my exchange or wallet and I put it back into the network, and I help to validate the new transactions that will be written on the blockchain. And typically there are different nodes that the main stake validators will run, and you can join different staking pools as you become validators on that network. I actively do that for Cardano currently. Now, certain ones lock up your assets to where you can't pull it, whereas on Cardano, if I staked my Cardano and put it up on the blockchain in one of my wallets, then if I wanted to pull it and sell it, I can. With Ethereum, I can't. Once you stake it, it's sort of stuck there until their entire network is finished, because they're currently going through those updates due to the scalability issues. And to give you a little comparison, right now Ethereum has about 3% of their network staked that they need to have for their total network to be secure and valid and fully operational. And Cardano had, the last time I checked, around 71%. And keep in mind, they just went live. So this is an incredible feat of foresight that Charles Hoskinson had, just to be able to put all these things in motion, because he knew that they were going to be having the same issues as Ethereum if they didn't do this ahead of time. And for a blockchain to perform efficiently, validators are required to provide stable and secure services. So blockchains often enforce this by slashing the validator's stake for any sort of dishonest behavior, and they manage those pools to make sure that nothing malicious occurs. Now, what do I get if I own Cardano and I stake it? Just as an investor, right? Because I'm not building on it. I'm not a programmer. I don't need smart contracts. But if I stake my Cardano, there's actually a calculator on their website where you can see, oh, so if I put it in my wallet and I stake it, I can actually earn, let's say if I had 10,000 Cardano and I stake it, I would make about an additional 460 Cardano per year if it's an average rewards of 4.6%. Now, the pool I stake in, it's about 7%. You actually have to go in and do your research on what pool you want to be in. But it's just to tell you that when you go to stake your cryptocurrencies, it can be as in-depth or simplistic as you want. On Coinbase, you just click, yeah, go ahead and stake, go ahead and unstake. On Kraken, stake, unstake. For Cardano, it gets really in-depth, and I like that because I want to be able to choose exactly how much I can make whenever I put that up, because that's just additional funds coming my way in the form of Cardano, which right now is $1.24, but as it continues to rise, I don't get less Cardano. I still get the same amount from my staking pools, and in that case, it's probably going to be an even better reward. Now, two of their main wallets that they have, and these are both online, and you can download both onto your computer. I wouldn't suggest doing this without first just dipping your toes into purchasing Cardano and learning a little bit more about it. But they have both the Nautilus wallet and the Yoroi wallet. And I actually use Yoroi. The hard wallet that I have doesn't support Cardano just because it wasn't at that stage yet in time. So this is the wallet I use, and I actually downloaded it onto my computer. If you wanted to get a little visual into it, let me see if I can pull this up. I don't know if it'll load. Yeah, so I blocked out the amount that I have in, but I staked my ADA, which is the ticker symbol for Cardano, and it shows each epoch or their block generation sections and when I receive my rewards and what pool I'm in. It's definitely really interesting. I'm going to make a separate video on it, but I wanted to tell you that that is a big part as to why Cardano is going to be successful as they're launching, since they have their network ready to scale and secure, unlike Ethereum, and they're sort of putting the cart before the horse now, trying to rush through quick fixes to make sure that they can scale as well so they don't fall behind. Now, I mentioned a couple times that Cardano had a very impressive roadmap in how they were going to roll out their cryptocurrency. It would have been very easy for Charles to say, oh, it's 2017, everything's going up in this like crazy mind-melting parabolic run. Let me just, make everyone FOMO into it and tell them everything's ready to go. But they didn't go that route because, again, the only thing that matters is the science and the code and the functionality behind it. So they rolled out a roadmap that had 5 different stages. Now, the first stage was what occurred in 2017. And, well, at least in bulk. So this began in 2015, but most people started buying Cardano in 2017. You can't stake the tokens unless you own them. You can't have a network of validators unless you have people purchase that cryptocurrency. So the number one thing was to get a series of people that had the cryptocurrency so that they could then go and stake them. And they named each of these phases after different authors or artists or important historical figures, which that could be its own video because I think it's very interesting. But the next thing was decentralization. And Shelley was just occurring up until this year, all through 2020. But this was where you had people actively staking their Cardano and putting it back onto the network and earning those additional rewards while simultaneously securing the network, making it the most decentralized that it could possibly be, with all these different computers and all these different nodes and networks running the Cardano network separately. So that was the second phase. Make sure it is fully rolled out, everyone's buying it, and now we all want to stake it as much as possible. Now, the Goguen phase just went live March 1st and is actively still being rolled out. But this is where the smart contracts and the additional interoperability in the blockchains and the new cryptocurrencies built on top of Cardano, this is when all that fun shit is going to occur. So they already had, as of yesterday, which was only 48 hours into the network being live, about 200 projects that were building on Cardano and trying to complete their process already, even though it just went live. And just as you have the Ethereum network with its specific cryptocurrencies for lending and borrowing, or asset management, or payments, or synthetic asset management, Cardano is going to have its own ecosystem of different cryptocurrencies and different networks that are all going to tie together. So I'm keeping my ear to the ground for when they're announced and when they're rolled out, because I'm going to be the first one in line to buy some of those if I think that the project is complete and that it makes sense. Now, the next 2 phases, I'm not going to go too deeply into, but scaling and governance. So you want to make sure that you can roll it out to as many people as possible. And then you want to make sure that ultimately at the end of the day, the network can become self-sustaining, which means you have enough validators, you have enough stakers, you have enough people in the system transacting, and that the computers in the center of it all that run it can autonomously continue to do their job while we all integrate into this new decentralized economy. So as those next couple phases unroll over the next couple years into this big bull run that's going to occur in 2024 into 2025, that is where I am almost fully on board with Team Cardano over Ethereum. In full transparency, although I own both of them, my larger of the 2 positions is in Cardano. I do believe that they are going to win this foot race as far as total adoption and scalability. In the short term, I believe Ethereum, but overall, I think Cardano has it in the long run. Now, for some of their other big projects, now this is from back in 2019, but this is all coming to fruition now. So one of Cardano's main goals was to bring sustainable banking, financial access to the continent of Africa. And right now, there are about 5 major countries throughout Africa that are looking to pair up with Cardano to first roll out about 1 million users onto Cardano's network and then scale it from there. But many people that we talk about that don't have access to banking, that have no financial stability, they're from that region. So the fact that Cardano isn't saying, what billion-dollar fucking institution can just sell some debt and buy more Bitcoin, Cardano's going directly to the root of the problem and the people that need it and laying out groundwork there. So not only do I believe in them from a functional or scientific aspect, as Charles would say, but I believe in their mission more so as well, just in how they're rolling it out. Now, the big question from your side is, how do I buy it? Because although it is at $1.24, well, $1.23 now, just a couple days ago, about half a month, it was much less. So this time last month, it was at right around 44 cents. Now, I bought most of mine around the 29 to 60 cents range, simply because I didn't know if they were going to be able to stick to their Goguen timeline, which was that March 1st smart contract rollout. But now that they nailed that, that's when I transferred a bunch of my other cryptos around and made room to make them one of my larger holdings. Now, just imagine if you were paying attention even a couple months ago, back in November, it was down to 9 cents. I mean, that's life-changing wealth in and of itself right there. So those things do occur, and it is possible to be in the right place at the right time. It all depends on your risk aversion and your, intelligence or education based on the project. But for Cardano, they have 31 billion currently available in circulation, with an additional probably about 14 billion, 13 billion to be released over time. So that's why it's $1.23, unlike Ethereum, which, if you remember in our video about Ethereum, they only have 114 million. So there's a big discrepancy in the amount of circulating supply. But then again, this is supposed to be accessible to many more people right out of the gate. So the fees are lower as well. Just a side note, not to get too off topic about how to buy it, but the fees are almost non-existent in comparison to Ethereum. And that has to do with all the validators and stakers on the network, as opposed to just paying that fee with the Ethereum to make it run. But where do I buy it? Because if you pulled up in Coinbase and you got all excited because you're like, oh shit, it's time to jump in, it's $1, I can grab a couple. Well, they're not available on Coinbase. Now, I can't say for certain because I am not an international SEC lawyer. I think that had something to do with IOHK being founded in Japan and them having different issues about clearance on Coinbase. I heard someone say that, but that's just, speculation. I can't validate that. However, I do believe that soon enough they will be listed on Coinbase, possibly at some point this year. That would be massive for people in the United States, but also for Cardano in general. But if you're in the US and you want to buy it, I have 3 different suggestions or routes to go based on the US exchanges that I use. Each one has its own ups and downs. Each one I'm going to make my own exchange video on, just like we did for the Coinbase video. Now, the first one is Kraken. They are a US-based exchange that you'll have access to. They have good staking options for Polkadot, for Cosmos, for Kusama, some of those other more well-known cryptocurrencies. But you can purchase Cardano on there, and this is the main exchange I use for buying Cardano. It is a little bit frustrating to sync up your banking verification, and I and others I know have had issues with it, but that's just a scalability issue. When it comes back to it, these exchanges are being hammered by more new members and more onboarding than any companies on the face of the earth right now. So they're going to have a turnaround time that's a little bit slower to get everyone synced up. The second one is Binance.us. Now, my favorite exchange in all of existence is Binance. However, in our infinite wisdom in the government, we blocked Binance and you can't access it. Now, although I did get back in over the previous summer in 2020 to pull off all my remaining cryptocurrency from 2017, I couldn't purchase anything else since it was tied to my US bank account. But luckily, we have this offshoot Binance.us. Comparatively, it would be like selling your Ferrari for a bicycle with no wheels. It doesn't live up to Binance. You have much fewer options. However, you can still buy various cryptocurrencies that you can't find on other exchanges, including Cardano and some other ones that I not only stake and own that I'll be covering later on. The sign up time for banking verification at minimum right now is 15 days for them to clear your banking and identification. So for any of the ones I'm suggesting, I would sign up for all of them that you intend to use now. Because even if you're not using them tomorrow, if that time comes and you're like, oh shit, like this was just announced or everything's going nuts, or maybe I found a project I'm interested in because I'm learning more, you're not going to have access if you don't do it now, and it's only going to get more difficult to get cleared the higher and higher this bull run goes. And then the third one, although they don't have a website that you can use on your computer, I've been using Voyager now that I finally got cleared and they went live. The wait time for me was about a month, which sounds fucking ridiculous, but they were onboarding or getting requests for new members, about 100 new people per minute throughout the whole GameStop saga. So I can't knock them for that. Good for them. And I actually own the native Voyager token in some of the cryptocurrencies on there as well. So I am a big fan of Voyager, and you can download their mobile app and at least get on their wait list to be able to incorporate yourself. All in all, as far as the Cardano deep dive, hopefully that gives a little bit of an idea as to what their focus is a network blockchain, how that differs a little bit from Ethereum. It's more people focused as opposed to just decentralized network, and it's mostly being bought up by institutions. With Ethereum, it's a little bit more expensive, it's a little bit less scalable, it's a little bit more congested. Both of them are phenomenal. I'm a fan of both. I own both. I personally like Cardano a little bit more. I hope that this information can help you make a better decision as to whether or not you want to branch out onto these other exchanges and purchase some for yourself. Aside from that, I appreciate you for joining me on this episode of Viva La Coin, and I will catch you guys next time.